Hi guys. Today basically I'm gonna be dealing with Kali Linux. Okay, lightly. I just wanna start from this terminal here. Clear up. Okay, guys. Today, basically what I will be doing is just to showcase basic Linux commands. Okay, let me just step in and start with ls. Basically, that's the foundation where, as a beginner, you must start at ls. It's list. Basically, it shows the content or files. As we can see there, we can see this desktop downloads. There's content in there, and another shortcut to list in a long list. We can use ll, or we can use ls minus l, which is basically the same command. But the first one, ll, is just a shorter version of ls minus l. It depends, and it goes via time. When you get more professionally with the Kali Linux, then you'll obviously get used to the commands and the shortcuts. Going forward again, since it shows us when you run the ls minus l in a vertical way, it shows you, as you can see on your left hand, going to your right, we can see that there's dr wx, which we're gonna cover going forward on next video, by the way. Those are permissions, basically, relatively to the file that you see on with blue, by the way. And from there, we can see there's pen test, which is your user and group, and you can see the timestamps and the dates, and the 409, which it's the information, it's the size of the info on that directory or folder. And we can run ls minus h in human, you know writable format, which, as we can see, that 409, it's in 4.0k. You see, that's basically if you need more info on it, in a way that you can understand the numbers, by the way. And moving forward, there's basically a couple of commands that we can mix upon. We can even add the t. Okay, we can run the ls minus lth. Basically, if you can watch clearly there, you can see that on the previous command it was just December, then Feb in the middle, then December. But now, watch closely there. The February, it's there on top. Then the December are aligned correctly there. Meaning the T lightly puts up, the alphabetically, if I might say, you know, or the first folder that was created with the timestamps and all of that upon the, let me say, the month that it was created. By the way, as we can see there, it's in a format that, okay, you can see it's Feb, then it's December. Basically, we don't have another month that maybe it might showcase very well when was this one created, and in that alphabetically manner, by the way. And moving forward, we have another command with the ls, is just to list and check things. And we have this one again. Let me not mix with this one, ls minus r, with the capital R, meaning recursively. It can view the inside of those directory or folders, without you seeding into each and every folder to view. what's inside basically. And now I'm just gonna LL on this, then CD, let me say to document or downloads. Basically, the CD command is change directory, by the way. That's another command that we gonna effectively and almost our entire life, gonna be using most of the time, which is CD change directory, which it does, it give us the permission to go inside, that specific directory or folder. Then when you are inside there, as you can see there, I'm just gonna highlight that part. As you can see there, there's a download compared to this one. As you can see there, it was just showing that tilde, but on this one here, it shows tilde forward slash then downloads, which it shows you that it changed from that primarily working directory to that specific directory or folder, by the way. NLL or LS, which it's one in the same, it's just gonna show you basically, let me say, one and the same, but yeah, they are similar, by the way. If you can see, there's a difference between LS alone and LL or L minus L, which with LS minus L, it shows you the permissions, it shows you the username and the group, it shows you the let me say the size of the file or folder, compared to ls. Ls is just going to show you the file that's inside that directory. And another thing that I want to highlight is that there's a difference between a file and a directory, by the way. As you can see there, the blue, it shows you that the directory it's blue. Then as you can see, the file it's white. That's another thing that you can differentiate um, between your folder and a file, by the way. Okay, since we are here, if you wanna go, we can go back out of that directory by doing cd, then two dots, then we can just run ll again. As we can see, we are back to our primarily home page, by the way. As we can see, we are back where we started, and those are commands that you can basically utilize, when working with any Linux distro. By the way, if you wanna go back, you can use cd dot dot two dots. Then if you wanna go in, you can use only cd. Then you specify, the specific directory or folder, by the way. And moving forward on this, another useful command that we can use is pwd, which it show us the current or the primarily working directory that we are working on. Okay, let me mix our commands now. Let's go back to downloads. We cd there, and you must always make sure that you check on your right if it shows you the tilde forward slash downloads, to show that okay, you are at the right folder. And again, this command, it's another command that verifies that you are in the right working folder, by the way. As you can see there, I cd'd, I changed directory to downloads. Then as you can see there, we are inside the home test downloads. That's another verification that you can verify if you are in the right working directory, by the way. Now you're gonna go back. Okay, as we done with that one, the primarily working directory, we can again use who am I. This is another useful command that we can basically use, which is who am I. Who am I? Basically, it shows you um, who's currently, let's say, maybe own the machine, because let me just, because now as we can see, we are pen test. That's the name that we set up our machine with. Let me say that's the owner. you know it might be your name, it might be a nickname, but it's gonna show us who you are, basically. As I'm pen test, just for uh, learning purposes, let me just do this. I just want to show you something again. As we can see, if we switch to root, it shows us, if we run who am I, choose as root. And again, on the back here you can see the pen test. On the back here you can see pen test. Then even here you can even read it from there without even running the command who am I. It will still show you from there that who am I, this is me. Then if you want to exit the root, we can just say exit. We're going back. But yeah, basically who am I can just show you who's the owner of the machine, yeah, such things like that. Then another useful command that we can go to, we can, for basic use, it's df minus h. On df minus h, basically what we're doing here is we checking what disks are available, even the mount points. As you can see there, it states clearly file system size used, available, using percent, then mounted on. You see, this is the lightly the structure of files that are mounted on our system basically. And on my system here, we're just gonna see this one, which is the very most important mount point on our system. This is the one that has all the system files. It has like all the files that are making our Kali Linux, our OS to run as perfect as it is. If you tamper with that, then you're gonna broke your system, by the way. And one thing that I can show you is this one. If you run cd slash, that slash, it's a root directory, by the way. Then if I run ll on that, basically this is our hierarchy or the structure of our OS system, by the way. Here you must definitely know your story. I'm just showing you, but don't play upon these files. You must, have the knowledge first and understanding of how the structure has been structured and how it works and what it contains inside, basically, because there's a lot involved in the structure. And if you tempt with any of these files, especially files like etc, boot, um, like other ones like sbin, sys and var. There's a lot of things that are at stake here, which it might break your system, by the way, if you play around with it and you use it in a fashion that you run commands like rrm, or doing the removals, or doing whatever, changing permissions here. It's quite might break your system. It's a very protective side where you mustn't play if you don't have knowledge of what you're doing on the system. Now we can to move out of there, out of the root directory, we can just say cd. It's another shortcut to move to your home directory, by the way. Then we are back here. The next command that we can use, one thing again that I can highlight, I can just go back here on top again just to explain the df minus h, which is it's a file system. It's a disk file system where with the minus h, it's in a human readable format. As you can see, available in in megabits and gig, in percentage, in a way that you can read how much space it's been left, how much space have been taken out of the root or the div or the run, all sort of that info. You can get it there. And again, we have another command which is du minus h. and basically DU, it's a disk usage, by the way. What's using this. As you can see, the structure here, it goes on and on compared to DF, minus H. Here it shows you smaller files, and even bigger files that are being utilized on the system. you know Basically, those are the commands that you can see what's eating this much space, and all of that, by the way. And next command, okay, and if you wanna clean your screen, you can just clean your screen or run Control L. It's another shortcut to clear your screen, by the way. It can, work on a neat screen. And there's another command which is important, which is top. I think majority have heard of it. Top, basically, it shows you a couple of things here. The commands that are running on the system, the process IDs, the users, as we can see here on the side, from your left going to your right. It shows you various information here, the CPU, the memory. Majority of time, things that we must always consider when you're using top, it's things like PID, which is a process ID, your user, which user, especially when you are troubleshooting a system, or you're troubleshooting an issue with your system having, issues, or sluggish, or uh, activity that you don't understand on the system. Basically, you can use top. It's gonna show you like such information as that, the CPU, how much CPU is being utilized, and who's utilizing that, and what command have they ran on the system. As you can see on your far right, there's a command there. As you can see here, I have my terminator there. The one I highlighted is this CLI, this I'm using now, which is terminator, by the way. It even populates there that it's running, and it's using how much of CPU there. It shows even the memory. It shows how much memory are you using there. And basically, on top of those, slightly, we'll need a video where we're gonna break down each and everything. But yeah, just wanted the most important part that engineers basically use is that part. But we can go more deeper into this. As you can see there on top, you have time, you have two users logged in, load averages. You can go deep, tasks, total, one running, 150 sleeping, zero stops, zero zombie. There's a lot. The CPU, which is use USCCYNI, I ID. There's like a couple of things that you can dive deep and understand more, with top. It's not only the commands and the PID and users, but as a beginner, those are the first thing that at least you must familiarize yourself and understand. Now we're gonna move away from top. Then another command that we can use, it might be free minus H. Then there's free minus M. I just wanna show you the two. Okay, let me just clean my screen. Let me run them again. Okay. Now, since we are back here, the free command lately, it's being used to check your memory, basically, and swap, how much memory you have. With the minus H, it shows you in a human readable format. As you can see that you have the total, used, free, shared, buffer, and cache. Then you have available. I don't know if you even saw on the top command. It even showed, I think, on the right. Let me just run it one more time. Just wanna show you here. You even have the catchy there, the buff and catch. Even the available there. It shows. Going back. Let me go back again here. As you can see, even on the top, you can even analyze, such information. But on top, if you see here, it's not in a human readable. You must always, understand the numbers. It's another factor that might take place, and the swap, it might show you, okay, the swap, you have total of that, and they use the 0 bits, then, 910 meg that it's free on the system. But going forward, definitely we're gonna break them down. We're gonna have like sessions where we only deal and break down exactly each and function, how it operates, how it works. But yeah, if you wanna check how much memory you have or swap, that's the command. It's a right command to use, which is free. And the next command that I might think of, come on, what command can we list out that it's very important? Um, okay, talking about swap, let me not go deep, but you have a command called swap. You have command called swap on using okay, I don't think for beginners, let me not go there yet. Let me come up with another command. Okay, let's go for touch. Touch, it's another command that creates only files, like file.txt. Let me run touch, as you can see here. As you can see there at the bottom, um, you can see the permissions, user, and the group. When you create the file, it's gonna use your user and the group unless you create a group or another user that you want that file to be under. That can be done. But for now, we're just talking about the touch. A touch command, it's a command that creates a file on your system. It doesn't create the folder, it creates a file. And as you can see, like I said previously, a file, you can see it with the white, column, and the folder, you can see it with the blue one. As you can see there, I just created my file. And another most important one is how to create a folder, by the way, which I can call my folder zoo keeper. You know, let's say zookeeper. Then let me do that. Creating basically creating a folder. You use the mk make directory. mkdir. You know, that's another command that it's very useful and very important in Linux, both touch and mkdir. As we can see here, that the zookeeper has been created, And another important factor is if you see the permission, if you watch the permission closely there, you can see the other one doesn't have D and the other one has D. That's another factor that you can differentiate between the two, folder and file. That okay, the one with D, it means it's a directory. It states directory, and the one that only shows a dash and doesn't have D, then it means that one is not a directory but a file. You know, that's basically how you can again differentiate between the two. And going forward, that's it's gonna be much easier. The more you create them, the more you work with them. And we have another command that I want us again to express here. It's a CP, which is a copy file. Let me put up this format here. With the CP, we have something called source and destination. You know, source and destination. The source is where, okay, the source is the file, you know, the file that you wanna maybe copy from one point to another. Then your destination, it's where you're heading to, or it's where you wanna copy your file to. Basically, I'm just gonna demonstrate that now. Just gonna say my file, which is my source, then the zookeeper. Let me put the zookeeper here. As you can see there, I'm just gonna run the command. Okay, then As we can see, if we even run the ll, we can see if, okay, did it did the copy command work, did it copy it through. Now we're going back to that useful command we used before, which is ls minus r, which if we go down here, we can see that under that there is file.txt, and we can do this again to verify. We can cd change directory, go inside the zookeeper, then we can run ll to see, okay, the file have been copied successfully. Another command, since we are here, is we're gonna use the rm, which is remove. Then we state which file we wanna remove, by the way. Then we can run this. Then if we ll, you see it says total it's 0. Then that's another command that it's useful, rm, which means to remove a file or a directory. Then we can use another important command, which is move. We can move. If we move it, we're gonna move it from this current state it's in. Then the time we're gonna run the ll on this current state, it's gonna show us that the file is no longer there. It's been moved to zookeeper. We wanna take this file, we wanna move it to zookeeper. Then without any errors there, if you don't see any errors, then it means the file have been copied successfully. Now if we check on the current state we are at, we can't see the file anymore. It was there previously, now it's no longer there. We can go back and run our command again, ls list with a minus recursively. Then we can check under the zoo file. We can see that, okay, Mr. File.txt is being moved, to zookeeper. That's basically how these commands on Linux work. Basically, if you wanna be a Linux professional or specialist or engineer, these are basic commands that each and every profession have passed through, and learned and made sure that they understand them, they understand the function, they understand the purpose of them. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe, follow, or like. Um, Lightly, I'm just gonna end here. Then we're gonna resume on another part or another video that I will create moving forward with these commands. I think.